Universal.
Come on.
We want to see it.
Come on, Universal, get on it.
You did mention that originally Wizomania was supposed to be a ride,
Yes, it
which
was.
is iconic. I'm a big
Yes.
theme park person, and I
Yes.
think the world building of Shiz and the Emerald City and Munching Land lends itself to a possible permanent theme park edition. If that were to happen, what would you like to see?
I mean, I would love for them to go into Wizomania as a ride. You know, you're supposed to sit in this thing and it spins you around. It's supposed to be an immersive show. So you like pop up and you would be almost at the ground level of this show, and it would be happening to your left and it would spin you to the right. It would spin you upside down and there would be a mirror and it would be happening above you. It was supposed to be this crazy thing. And so I think that would be really fun, having a cafe and where you can get the coffee and the things all from there would be a great. We could smell the tulips, where you could grab a poppy and take it out of the place. All those things, I mean, I think would be really fun.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Park Report for all things ride, rumors, and perspective. My name is Charlie, and this week, it's Wicked Week. The second installment of the Wicked movie, Wicked for Good, is trending everywhere. It's actually out in theaters right now as of today, the recording of this video. And today we're gonna dive into one of the biggest questions online right now. Is Universal Orlando actually building a Wicked themed land? Let's go ahead and break down where this rumor came from, the possible land locations, what could be inside, and how realistic this actually is. So what I want to do is let's actually start with the origin of this rumor. Now, it did not come from a message board or, just random speculation. It actually came from Mark Woodbury himself, who is the chairman and CEO of Universal's theme parks. So this actually came from a recent New York Times interview. He said that the Wicked movies inspired what he called significant future attractions for the future. He then added the quote that got everyone really talking online. When I saw the movie, my first reaction was, this is a theme park waiting to happen. When a CEO of any company, let alone Universal, says something like that, we have to pay attention, especially as fans. The question is, if Universal did bring Wicked to Orlando, where would it go? Now, there's of course a few strong options that are being discussed. There's a lot of rumors out there. So let's go ahead and dive into that first rumor. All right, so the first area or location that is being rumored is the current Simpsons area at Universal Studios Florida. Now, there have been long-running rumors about what's happening with the Simpsons contract between Fox and Universal. As many of you may or may not know, Fox is now owned by Disney, yet another property that is owned by Disney. Marvel is also owned by Disney as well. So it's just a really interesting, contract and IP that Universal has. So the question is, what's going on with The Simpsons? What's replacing it? This land has always been, at least as of recently, always been mentioned for a potential retheme. Now, a lot of the rumors point to a Pokemon theme land. I've heard even like they're gonna bring Back to the Future back to the area, which I don't foresee happening. But yeah, it would be really interesting for them to bring, a Wicked theme land to that area as a replacement. Now, the second area is the Men in Black area. It's just north of the Simpsons themed area. Now, the attraction itself is aging quite a bit. I mean, it's a pretty old movie that this ride is based off of. I was pretty young when this movie came out, so have they done updates to it? Of course, but it is still an aging attraction. Now, what points to this maybe possibly becoming a Wicked themed area or land is the actual land size of the building for the attraction is quite large. And if you factor in the Fear Factor stage that's right next to it, it makes it a pretty strong candidate for a potential replacement for Men in Black and for it to become Wicked. So now the third area, the third option is, of course, the Lost Continent over at Islands of Adventure. Now that area has been shrinking in area for years. Universal got rid of the the Poseidon's Fury attraction. They got rid of the Sinbad show many years ago. And it's just currently shops and a restaurant and some quick service area for food. It's beautiful. But the fantasy theme there, it makes it an easy fit for Oz. Of course, they're going to have to, if it does go there, they're going to have to completely junk all the things that are in there, get rid of it, demolish any buildings, and then just rebuild from the ground up. Because it's a fantasy area in our mind. However, it's not going to fit, with the Oz theme. So, and then also not to mention, there have been recent construction permits that have been put out there. From my understanding, those construction permits have been put on pause and removed. So at the end of the day, all signs point to this land going away for sure. It just depends, whether or not it's actually going to be Wicked theme or not. So only time will tell. So let's go ahead and talk about what my prediction is. And I just want to preface this by saying I'm not the only one that's talking about it. This is not my original idea. It's just when I heard about Wicked potentially coming to the theme parks, I thought about this particular area, and it just makes perfect sense on where they would put a new, essentially world. So anyway, getting to the topic here. So I think that the Wicked property, the Wicked IP, would be built, in a large expansion plot. It's going to take quite a bit of a big area to construct on, and there's really only one place at Universal Orlando on their property that really could hold and handle a Wicked themed land. Now, this area sits between Stardust Racers and the Wizarding Paris at Epic Universe. Now, some of you are probably shaking your head, probably disagreeing with me. I just want you to think about it here for a second. It's perfectly sized. It's perfectly placed, in the theme park. And Epic was designed for future expansion. So now, the reason why I point this here and why I don't think it would go in Islands of Adventure, to take over the Lost Continent, is that Harry Potter would be in succession, because you're going around the lagoon here, you would go through Dr. Seuss, you would go through this Wicked Land, and then you would end up in the Harry Potter area. And I just don't foresee Universal putting two magical witch, wizard-esque type properties in succession next to each other. And it just doesn't, in that particular thematic storytelling of the park for Islands of Adventure, I don't foresee them doing that. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Charlie, wait a minute. In Epic Universe, it's Stardust Racers, it would be this Wicked Land, and then it would be the Wizarding Paris, Wizarding World of Paris, which is right next to each other. Aren't those the same? Isn't that the same idea? And here is my rebuttal here, and the answer is no. And the reason why is that Epic Universe is designed with each of their lands being a separate portal. You don't have to pass through the Wicked Land to go to the Wizarding World in Paris, and vice versa. You can go into the portal, explore that portal on its own, and move on, leave the portal and go on to the next one. So I just feel like that is the most logical sense here. I try to use as much logic as I can, in these videos. But you know what? It's, everyone has an opinion. You tell me. Let me know in the comments, where do you think a Wicked Land would go in Universal Orlando if they were to build it in Universal Orlando? I would really love to hear what you got to say. Now, let's move into what could actually be inside of a Wicked theme land. Let's do a little bit of armchair engineering here. So here are my thoughts here. For the main attraction, it's going to have to absolutely be a massive e-ticket dark ride. if it's going in Epic Universe, this attraction would need to be epic as well. So, I can definitely see us being within the portal, being transported to Shiz, or maybe maybe one of the towns in Oz, maybe the Munchkin Land area. The Yellow Brick Road could be there as well. But we would probably end up in Shiz, or right outside of Shiz. We would take the train that we see in the movie to the Emerald City. And that would be potentially a pre-show. Now, when it comes to the actual ride, once we're in Oz, I could see us, that could be like the inside portion, similar to the Ministry of Magic, how we end up in the Ministry of Magic once we go through the Flu network. So, I could see maybe the ride, it's maybe a flying journey on Elphaba's broom, or maybe Elphaba enchants brooms for us to fly on. And it could be a mixture of kind of like a Soarin' type ride where we're flying over Oz and maybe we're trying to find the animals. Maybe there's a tornado that happens. Madame Morrible, she controls the weather. She's the character that kind of turns Elphaba wicked in a way. She kind of uses her political power there. So maybe, potentially, there could be a tornado that we get caught up in, kind of like in The Wizard of Oz as well. But, I feel like it would be like kind of a more dramatic flying type ride. There's a journey over Oz. There's some climactic scene with tornadoes, or maybe flying monkeys. Maybe there's even some music. Maybe we all sing Defying Gravity on the ride, right? So, to balance that out, not everything can be an e-ticket, dark ride. To balance that out, I could see Universal adding a family-friendly Glinda attraction. It could be a dark ride. It could be a flat ride, something whimsical. Maybe the guests are inside bubbles, Glinda's bubbles. In the scenes, if it's inside, it can maybe have, bright, colorful scenes, and that's kind of like her theme there as a ride. So, of course, with any theme park, especially with Universal and Disney, there's got to be gift shops, right? Merchandise is a huge thing with any theme park, and maybe maybe there's an Emerald City marketplace, or we're in the town, we're in the Emerald City, and we're able to shop and look at snacks and things like that. So, the architecture of Emerald City is beautiful. It's that, nice, bright green. There could be themed snacks. Maybe some interactive magic could happen. I'm not saying magical wands, because that's Harry Potter, but even some really good photo opportunities there with some of the characters. And Universal, of course, would go all out for this. Now, here's something that many people actually forget. Universal already has a Wicked presence in the parks right now. It is a limited time opportunity. It's been going on since right before the first movie came out. But both at Universal, Universal Orlando and Universal Hollywood, there is a Wicked experience that people can go into and view. Now, it's tied directly to the movie. It has the movie props. It has little vignettes of the different scenes in Wicked. It has, the outfits and things like that. And then, of course, a gift shop there as well. But one great thing that could tie this together is that there's a Glinda and Elphaba meet and greet, which is awesome. So that has actually gone pretty viral on TikTok and on Reels. So now, leading right off of the Wicked experience, maybe there is an Oz Historians Museum. Now, the Oz Historians, which are featured in the first movie, the Oz Historians are actually played by Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth, and they both originated the roles on stage on Broadway. They created these characters that we love and enjoy on stage, of course, but also in the movies. So this would be an Oz Historian museum of sorts. It could go through Oz memorabilia, or Oz. It could even be fake, but it would be themed, of course, to the characters that are there. We can see props. We can look at the lore of the Wizard of Oz, and interactive displays. Of course, I can see them doing that. But that also could possibly be where the meet and greet location is located. So definitely some great options there. So as far as entertainment goes, because there has to be a show. This is a Broadway stage show, of course. So yes, it started as a book. However, the stage adaptation is completely different from the book. It's not, it's more family friendly, I should say. But Universal already has a head start on entertainment. Not just the movies, but if some of you may not know that Universal Studios Japan, they already perform an abridged version of the Wicked musical at their park. So, Universal knows how to adapt Wicked into a theme park show format, and I can see this being really, really, really popular. So now let's look at the business side of things. Let's look at, kind of some facts here, and really this is where the rumor becomes even more interesting. And, this is where I think the rumor of a Wicked themed land coming to Universal becomes more reality. It's all about the money, right? So Wicked is a $1 billion Broadway hit. Just with the Broadway stage adaptation, it's $1 billion easily. And Universal is the main financial backer. If you go to see the Wicked musical, if you look in the playbill, you're gonna see Universal listed as the financial backer there. So that's also why they developed the movie and made the movie, because they have an interest in this particular IP. So, not on top of just the stage show, the first Wicked movie, it's already closing in on $1 billion on its own. I think it's like at $750 million, something like that worldwide, just in ticket sales. And that's just part one. You have to think, a lot of people, they did not want to see the first movie and wait. They wanted to wait until both parts were out to see both movies. So we're going to get rewatches on top of people just coming into seeing the first movie plus the second movie. There's streaming that's happened. People ran out to purchase the streaming rights. And part two, of course, is opening in theaters right now. It is open as of the recording of this video. So there lots of money to be made here. Some analysts expect this to become a $2 billion franchise after all things are said and done here. So, we're already close to $1 billion on the first movie. It's only time will tell, and it's going to happen. So Universal loves building lands around properties that they own or control. Now think about Harry Potter, Jurassic World, DreamWorks, Illuminations, Nintendo. Wicked fits the exact pattern at the exact right time here for a new theme park land. So while nothing is confirmed here, the odds are better than ever about this rumor and about Universal bringing Wicked to their theme parks. At the very least, we know that Universal Creative is thinking about it just because of Mark Woodbury's statements in that New York Times article. So, that's the full look at the Wicked themed rumor, Wicked land rumor, I should say. My thoughts on where it could go, what it could include, and why the timing makes sense here on the business side of things. Question is, do you think Universal will actually build a Wicked themed land? And if they did, what would you want to see inside? And if you enjoyed this Wicked Week video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and brings more theme park fans into the conversation. Thanks for watching, and this has been your Park Report.